I'm Jim with Ride Snowboards, and we're here today to talk about the Ride Lace Boot collection. So we've got 3 separate models in this collection, all of them featuring laces and all of them designed for kind of a high performance lace boot feel. It tends to be that the lace boot customer is probably a little bit more freestyle focused, but there are people that just like the feel of laces. You can definitely get more adjustability with how you lace up your boot over using a lacing system like BOA. The first boot in the line is the Fuse, then we'll talk about the Anchor boot, and then we'll talk about the Triad. But the key thing with all of these boots that makes the Ride boots better than some of the other lace boots, than all of the other lace boots on the market, is that our lace boots do feature our tongue-tied system. So the tongue-tied system is really important, and it's really valuable in some of our other boots in the line, but there's a special level of value when you're using a lace boot, because when you're lacing up a boot, you don't have that mechanical advantage that you get when you're using a BOA system. So when you're pulling that tight, there's only so much you can pull on the lace to get it tight, and sometimes with the boot, it may not pull your heel all the way into the heel pocket of the boot, and that's going to result in your heel lifting up when you're riding, and you're going to have to constantly be retying the boot. So how we solve that problem is by using our tongue-tied system. On the Fuse and the Anchor, that is operated with a BOA system. On the Triad, it's a manual tongue-tied system, but it's still the same system. So how it works is you got a BOA or the pull system on the side. That BOA attaches to the tongue of the boot, and as you're tightening the BOA down, it pulls the tongue onto the top of your foot and pushes your heel back into the heel pocket. You're able to adjust the tightness over the forefoot of your boot with each one of those each one of those lace crossovers, but you still have that advantage to jam your heel back in the heel pocket to prevent heel lift. Heel lift is the most annoying thing with a snowboard boot, and it basically makes it impossible to snowboard. So that's a huge advantage with all of these boots, and that's something that is not available with the vast majority of lace boots on the market. So we'll start by talking about some of the features on the Fuse. So the Fuse is the most expensive version of our lace boots, and this has all of the features. This is really designed for the customer that's looking for ultimate durability. They want a boot that's going to last them the whole season, maybe even 2 seasons. A lot of the competitors out there are selling a lace boot that breaks down after a very short amount of time, and it's very frustrating because you end up having to buy 2 boots per season. If you spend a little bit extra money, you can get all of these features that are going to provide extra durability up front, and you won't have to break in the boot twice. The first thing we want to talk about with the Fuse is the Michelin sole. We're using Michelin rubber on the sole, and that's a really durable rubber, but it's also going to grip the ice. So if you're hiking, when you're hiking rails, when you're hiking in the backcountry, even walking through the parking lot, this is going to provide you much better grip. It's the same rubber that they're using on the Michelin snow tires. The Fuse boot also has our rebound heel counter. So that is a urethane heel counter in the back of the boot that's going to increase durability. You've got our slime tongue, which is a urethane tongue in the front of the boot. And then you've got this rubber toe cap put over the front of the boot. This year, it's a new design of the rubber toe cap. So what that's all going to do is give you a little bit of extra damping when you're riding the boot, make it a really smooth ride, but it's also going to increase the durability. This is a very important thing when you're going out to buy a boot. You're spending this much money on a boot. You want to make sure it's going to last. The Fuse has the full wrap liner. This is an intuition liner. All of these boots actually have an intuition liner, which means it's completely heat moldable. And heat moldable is a very important and key feature when you're fitting a boot. When you're using a heat moldable boot with an intuition liner like this, you can eliminate all those days, the first 10 days that you buy another boot, and you got to go out there and break it in over time. You can heat mold this boot in store where you bought it, and you can basically eliminate those 10 days of discomfort. From day 1, the boot feels like it's a custom fit. You don't have to spend the time with the boot breaking in. The Fuse boot also has a little nylon gusset over the laces or under the laces here, kind of prevent extra snow getting into it. It does come in a special color designed by our favorite team rider, Spencer Schubert, and you can obviously get it in the classic black colorway as well. Let's take a look at the Anchor. So like the Fuse, you got 3 metal lace hooks on here, so that provides even more adjustability. The Anchor is designed with the rebound heel counter, but you go to a stitched tongue. So you still get that durability on the heel side of the boot. You don't get the urethane tongue that you get in the Fuse boot. This boot is designed to be a softer flexing boot and maybe designed for somebody who doesn't want that little bit of extra stiffness that you're going to get out of the Fuse. So the Fuse is probably like somebody who's looking for something really aggressive, kind of ride all over the mountain. The Anchor is going to be more all mountain focused, but maybe a little bit more playful style of a boot. You still get the wrap liner. With the Intuition, you get a nice rubber sole on this one, and the Fuse, you get that Michelin sole. 2 colors in this one. And then we go down to the first price point in our lace offering, the Triad. So the Triad's got a bunch of cool features too. You get 2 lace hooks on the top here, so when you're tightening it up, you get that adjustability. But the main thing here is this tongue-tied system. So instead of having the BOA, because BOA costs money, we can save you some money by doing this manual tongue-tied system. And the way that works is you pull that up, it pulls the tongue down onto the top of your foot, pushes your heel into the heel pocket and prevents that slippage. If you're looking for any price point lace boot, Ride has you covered. From the ultra premium Fuse to the more budget friendly Anchor, or even more budget friendly Triad, you can kind of find the perfect boot that's going to fit you. There's a lot of similar features in there, and if you're looking for a good lace boot that you can rip all over the mountain, this is definitely where you want to start looking.